So hey there guys, Erin here again, and today I am going to be going over 3 different keto-friendly recipes with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy all of these recipes, and with that, let's get started with the first one. This triple berry recipe is a great one if you are missing waffles. You can omit the berries in the waffle mixture, and you can omit the topping. You can top it in a different way if you want to, but I just, I don't eat raspberries and strawberries and stuff like that very often. When I do, I like to think of them as a treat, and so this is a great way to kind of treat yourself. And so I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Alright guys, so this recipe makes 3 servings, and I'm going to start out by making the berry topping for the waffles, and then I'm going to move into making the waffles themselves. So you're going to need 6 strawberries, and you're going to want to cut the strawberries up into about 1/6 to 1/10 the size of the strawberry, depending on how big of berry. Those berries I would call medium, and so I was cutting those into 1/6 of the berry as I went through it. And then I mixed it with 1 cup of raspberries, and I placed both of these items into a saucepan, and then I lightly covered it with water. So just enough water to submerge the berries, but not enough to make them float is kind of what you want to do. I added 2 tablespoons of my favorite sweetener to this mixture just to make it a little bit sweeter. The brand that I used was Sweet Love. It's a stevia based sweetener, and it's a 1-to-1 sugar replacement. So as you go through this, just use that calculation if you're using something else. So you want a 1-to-1 sugar conversion. So I put it on medium-high heat, and I allowed it to boil and just kind of let it simmer, let the water evaporate, and as the water goes away, it becomes more jelly-like, so you get into this consistency. Once you get to this consistency, you want to reduce the heat to low. So then to move on to the waffles, I used baking powder, vanilla extract, coconut oil, 4 eggs, some blueberries, frozen blueberries, you could use fresh, 1/3 cup of hazelnut flour, and then 1/2 cup of almond flour. And then to add a little bit more protein, I did do 1 scoop of my collagen. And this is just to give it, a little bit more protein, make it a little bit more healthier. You can omit this. It doesn't change the recipe if you don't add the collagen. So the full recipe for this is below, but basically I took all the flour and then the bone broth and I added it into the mixer. I did 1 teaspoon of the baking powder and 1 teaspoon of the vanilla extract, and then I added the 4 eggs in. For the coconut oil, I did 2 tablespoons of that, and I did place it in a saucepan on my stovetop in order to melt it. You can melt it in the microwave if you want to, but I just did it on the stovetop so that it would blend smoothly into the mixture. For the blueberries, I did do 1/3 of a cup, and I will say that if you are trying to make this a little bit more low carb, you can go ahead and omit the berries from the pancake or from the waffle. Otherwise, you could also omit it from the sauce. Basically adding or removing either of those will, dramatically reduce the carb count. So majority of the carbs in this recipe are coming from the berries. So to make another topping, I did 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, and I mixed in 5 drops of vanilla stevia. If you don't have a vanilla stevia, you could do whatever sweetener you are preferring on keto, and vanilla extract in order to get the same kind of flavor. So for the serving size of the waffles, I did 2 1/3 cup scoops of the mixture into my waffle maker, and I did this on medium-high heat. It took about 2.5 minutes to cook each waffle. I would say the last waffle actually took closer to 3 minutes just because heat was coming off of the waffles. So once they're done, they look like that. The syrup on there is 1/4 cup of the syrup once it was done, so that comes to 9.6 net carbs. Alright, hey, so this next recipe I have again is a chowder. With this one, I will just say that you can change out the meats. The meats I used were the ones that I have on hand. I keep some little lobster tails on hand, and I keep salmon on hand, and so that is what I threw into this recipe. But you could easily replace this with, smoked ham, bacon, chicken, other seafood or other fish that you might want to put in there. You could even make it into a clam chowder and put clams in there. whatever it is that you want to put in there as far as the meat goes, that, you know, that's whatever you want to do. It's a great soup base, and so I hope you guys enjoy it. Alright, so for this recipe, I cut up one medium-sized head of cauliflower. I completely removed all the stems and just left the head portions of the cauliflower. I drizzled 1 tablespoon of olive oil over it and then placed it in the oven for 25 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I also cut up half of a medium onion into small pieces and then sauteed it in about 1.5 tablespoons of butter. I took 1 5-ounce fillet of salmon and cooked it so that it became completely cooked. I did leave this one slightly undercooked in the middle because I was going to be placing it back into another pan, so I shredded up that salmon so that it would be in small kind of chunks, and then placed it into the onions and added in the lobster tails to let the whole thing kind of finish cooking and marinate together. So I just stirred it occasionally, and then yeah, it got all that good buttery flavor into the salmon and into the lobster tail. Once this was done cooking, I put it on low heat and then proceeded to work on the cauliflower. So the cauliflower came out of the oven, it was nice and roasted, nice and soft, so I took it off the pan and put it into my food processor. And then added in 2 tablespoons of butter. You can see the Kerrygold in the background there. And then blended everything together to the consistency of mashed potatoes. So once it was fully blended and kind of blended together, I had taken a large saucepan, or a large like soup pan, and placed it in the oven and added another tablespoon of butter and allowed that to melt, and then put the mashed potato cauliflower mixture, the mashed cauliflower, into the pan, and then added 2 cups of water, and then mixed everything together so that nothing was sticking. The mashed cauliflower became more like a soup texture, and then I took my heavy whipping cream and I added 1 cup of heavy whipping cream to this in order to kind of increase the fats for this soup, and then I blended and kind of stirred that all together. Once the heavy whipping cream was in there and everything was kind of molded together, I added in the seafood mixture, so the lobster, the salmon, and the onions into the pot, and then proceeded to kind of stir that in and kind of mix it all together. Okay, so to spice up the soup a little bit more, I added a few seasonings. So I added 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1.5 teaspoon of paprika, and then I did 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and then 1 tablespoon of salt, because I need to get it in there. So after it was all done, I did add more salt to my soup just because I like that taste, and so I mixed all those seasonings in. I made sure that the soup was, you know, hot, everything was kind of blended, and then decided to kind of portion it out. So for the portion sizes on this, I did 2 cup servings. So I took my cup scooper and I just scooped out 2 cups of it. I did top it off with a little bit of parsley flakes. The total carb count on this for a 2-cup serving comes to 11.5 net carbs. If you want to change the meat out because you don't like these meats, feel free to. The flavors will still be there because it's really the soup base that's got that good kind of flavors. So I hope you guys enjoyed this soup recipe, and I hope you find good ways to use it in your own keto diets. Alright, so this last one is the margarita, and again, like I said, you know, you can kind of feel like deprived, or like you're not getting the same kind of drinks or beverages or, you know, kind of experiences when you're on a diet. And so this is a great option if you are drinking alcohol while on keto, to kind of feel like you're not missing out and that you're getting kind of the same kind of benefits as other people. And I will 100% say that this tastes like a margarita. This tastes exactly like a margarita that I've had a million times at restaurants, just without all the added sugar. There is 0 sugar in this. The only thing in it that is anyway sweet or sweetening is the lime, and so you are getting kind of the, you know, great taste of a, you know, summer-friendly margarita without any of the kind of, you know, non-keto friendly aspects that you can get in a restaurant-style margarita. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Alright guys, in order to make this margarita, you need 3 things. You are going to need club soda, fresh squeezed lime juice, so 2 limes, and then some tequila. You could also do what I'm going to be doing here, which is rimming your glasses with salt. That makes it a true margarita. So in order to do that, you are just going to want to set aside 2 bowls, 1 bowl with water, 1 bowl with salt. Dip your margarita glass into the water, and then dip it into the salt. You don't want the glass to be too wet, but you want it to be wet enough that it picks up the salt. So I had to kind of roll the glasses in there because our pink salt wasn't exactly sticking the way regular margarita salt would. So you're going to want to squeeze the juice out of your 2 limes, so just go ahead and cut them in half and then juice them, and then set the juice aside. In order to make this, you're going to need tequila, of course, and so for 2 servings of margarita, I used 3 ounces of tequila, and I poured and measured it out and then put it into a pitcher. Using a pitcher is the easiest way to kind of mix and make sure everything gets blended evenly together. Once I had the tequila in there, I went ahead and added the club soda and then added the lime juice, and then mixed it together. I did add ice to make sure everything was nice and cool, and then poured it into the 2 glasses. So this is a great margarita. Again, super low carb because you're really only getting carbs from your limes, and so if you are looking for a drink on keto, this is a great one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found some good information, and I will just say again, any of these recipes can be altered, you know, in whatever kind of flours you want to use. If you're not using almond flour and you want to use coconut flour, you could alter it that way. In regards to the waffle recipe, if you don't want to use seafood in the chowder recipe, you could use, you know, ham, you could use bacon, you could use chicken, you could use whatever kind of meat you are personally enjoying or just have stocked in your fridge. And then lastly, with the margarita one, just know that, you know, I'm trying to limit alcohol on this, but every once in a while you just kind of want to have a treat. If it's a nice summer day or whatever it is, you're celebrating with people, you know, maybe you just want an option. And so I hope this helps to kind of show that even though something might have seemed off limits, it doesn't have to feel off limits. Basically anything you could have desired before being keto, believe you me, we can put our heads together and we can find a way in which to enjoy it while we eat this way and while we go forward eating this way for, you know, the rest of our lives, if that's their choice. Dieting or being on a diet shouldn't feel like a way of feeling deprived. It should be a way to just feel yourself in the way that is the most efficient way for you possible. And for me, keto is that way, and if you're watching this, keto is probably that way for you too. But yeah, I enjoy these recipes and I enjoy playing around with them to kind of get different tastes, again, so I don't get bored, and that's what I recommend. So again, if you guys did enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you are somebody that is new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe because I am all about this keto life, and I am constantly posting what I hope are informative videos that help other people out as they go through this whole keto process. So again, until next time, I hope you guys are doing well and everything is going great on your keto journey, and I will see you guys later. Bye.